This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 91 of Healthy Critters Radio on the Horse Radio Network. Healthy Critters Radio is brought to you by BioStar US. Find them online at biostarus.com.
On today's show, we discuss food allergies in horses and dogs. In Tigopedia, we ask how to transition horses into retirement. Critter Nutrition focuses on stress and recovery. And in Coffee Clutch, we share the best advice our dogs have given us. Listen in. My name is Tigger Montague.
And I am Patty Perucci, and welcome to Healthy Critters Radio.
So, Patty, you were the mother of the bride this past weekend.
I was, and I was so happy that you were there to be there and witness it. It was, honestly, it was one of the best days of my life. We had such a great day all day long. And, it was, as you know, Tigger, a few of the hottest days that Virginia has seen in a long time.
Unbelievable.
And I will tell you, my daughter Hannah is a dressage rider as well. She's got quite a little resume going on herself, so she is all about doing things outside. So we picked this venue, which is wonderful. It's called Castle Hill Cidery, and it's right in Keswick, Virginia, and it's beautiful. I mean, it's you just go, it's God country out here. It's just stunning. It's just beautiful. And the one thing that she wanted is the option for the wedding to be outside, even though we were doing it in July, but she wanted to be able to go inside for air conditioning. And going into the weekend, obviously it can get into the hundreds in Virginia, but it doesn't happen often. And It sure happened over the weekend, didn't it? So we did the rehearsals outside. We did the whole thing, and then and didn't really prep for doing it inside. But one of the biggest things that we were hoping to give the guests is that Hannah also has an Australian Shepherd, and his name is Henley, and he is extraordinarily well-trained and extraordinarily just adorable in so many ways. And he was the flower dog. And it was Hannah and Parker had been practicing.
It was heartbreaking.
It was just adorable.
It was heartbreaking in that when that dog came in and he turned and went down the aisle, I broke out in tears, not of sadness, but of just
joy.
The whole human-dog connection.
Oh, it was just so sweet. But the thing that what nobody realized is that we had practiced that outside, and Henley did not have the opportunity to do it with all the chairs there. And it was just, and they just worked on it, and it went down. And I mean, Tigger, of all people, I knew you were going to love it. You were just going to love it. And it was pretty cool. We were very, very proud of that. Very, very proud of that. So it sort of set the precedent.
Now, I have to tell you, Jennifer, Patty already knows this, but I came a day early.
Yes, she did. My little pumpkin. You weren't the only one.
Did she come a day early because she had it written on the calendar wrong, or just wanted to have a little extra time in Virginia?
No, I thought it was Saturday because I think of most weddings as being on Saturday. So sure. Yeah. I didn't look at the invitation closely, and we drove into Castle Hill. And there was nobody there, and I went,
"What is going
okay,
on here?
Maybe it's at the big house." So then we get out and we drive down the road into the main house, and of course that's all closed off. And I went, he said, maybe you got the wrong weekend. And so then I pulled up the invitation. It said Sunday. So we had a good laugh all the way home.
Well, it was funny because there was a couple. It had that you weren't the only one, and it was, in my mind, I knew it was Sunday, and I knew that it was not a very classic day to do it. But my daughter is very frugal, and she said, if we're going to do it at a place like this, I would rather do it on an off day and be able to afford to invite more people than to do it, on the main day, and then, not be able to invite as much because, situations like that are pretty expensive. And so that's why she wanted to do it on Sunday, which I thought was kind of funny. But Tigger, you weren't the only one. So you just know that you were in good company with a couple other people. But yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Well, I'll remember that wedding forever, partly because we showed up a day early and also because it was just beautiful. And
thank you.
I'm sorry we had to leave and go muck stalls and turn horses out, but that's farm life when you don't have help.
Yep.
So
that's right.
Anyway, thanks for inviting me. But
Tigger, I came out of the area where we were all getting ready, and I was with my father-in-law, as you know, and I walked 2 steps, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's my little Tiggy sitting there, like you were the first person I saw. So that
and I blew her a kiss.
I know, it was very sweet. Very sweet. So,
well, we have some interesting topics to cover today.
We do. We have got lots of good stuff.
So let's get on it and see if we can help everybody's critters be more healthy.
So it is that time during the show where we have our roundtable discussion where we talk about the really big topics of the universe and help people think harder about them. And this one is near and dear to my heart, Tigger. So get us started.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk about food allergies in horses and dogs. And I bring this up because they're becoming more common in horses. They've been fairly common in dogs, but in horses, we're seeing more and more food allergies. Why this is, I don't know. The common allergens in horses now are soy, oats, sometimes tea, sometimes alfalfa, sometimes orchard grass, sometimes bahia, sometimes Bermuda, lots of pollens. But in the food group, corn, which is actually not as a common an allergen as, say, oats or soy. Those are the big ones. Molasses can be, In dogs, it's, generally more proteins. Chicken is a common one. Beef is a common one. Sometimes lamb, a little lesser so. Sometimes turkey. But in horses, what is so disturbing is I've seen allergy tests, and the horse is basically allergic to anything that's grass. And, it makes
now, let me
you
stop
wonder
you here because I'm curious.
What's going on?
I've never had a horse that I know of or worked with one that has had a food allergy that I'm aware of. Typically, how does a food allergy in a horse manifest itself? Because I know in dogs, it's really common that the dog has itchy skin. But how does it manifest in a horse?
Well, sometimes it manifests through colic.
Really?
So let's say the horse has frequent gas colics and they treat for ulcers and it may improve a little bit, but then after the Gastrogard is over, then the horse starts with another gas colic. And I noticed that in certain areas of the country, vets are starting to use an allergy test now more diagnostically, which is great. Like they say, okay, all right, we scoped, there's no ulcers there. There's no reason for this horse to be colicking. Let's pull the blood and do a food allergy panel. And lo and behold, you find out that the horse is allergic to soy or oats. And of course, that's in the horse's diet, or they're allergic to timothy and they've been eating timothy grass. Now, what's interesting about allergies, and this is true in humans and dogs and cats and horses, is we think of allergies as something that you're born with, but you can develop them.
Absolutely, yeah.
Why horses develop allergies, I don't know. I have a lot of guesses, but I think the whole point of discussing this is if your horse is starting to get these frequent colics or these long stretches of really loose stool that nothing will stop, and we think, okay, that's probably leaky gut, and you try this and that and this and that, it still doesn't quite fix it. If there's an attitude problem that just doesn't get better when you have tried some calmers and maybe some natural horsemanship techniques and just you've turned over every stone, get a food allergy test.
So
because what is so shocking to me is that
what does that look like? They draw blood and then you send it off to the lab and it comes back with results? Is that how that works?
That's exactly how it works.
Oh, that's simple enough. There we go.
And every lab has their own protocol. So they will tell you the ranges because they run different lab equipment. But they'll tell you, okay, this is high, this is low, this is normal, high, and it'll give you a number. So it's a relatively straightforward test. Now, some vets say they question its validity, meaning how accurate is it? And my point is, it's a way to point us in the right direction. If I do an allergy test for a horse and it's showing soy and oats and alfalfa, I'm definitely going to cut those three things out. See how the horse does. And it's really interesting because every horse that I've worked with that has had an allergy panel and then we've changed the diet, they've improved when you remove the allergens. Now, you can take that blood to another lab that uses a different test, and you might get, it may be a high normal instead of a over the top. But when you remove allergens, the horse feels better, which is, not remarkable. It just kind of makes sense. So the more I see these allergy tests being done and the more I see these panels and how common they are, meaning these similar allergies, it really makes me think, it's probably going to come a time when we're going to just need to test our horses. We do CBCs.
It's so interesting that you're saying this, Tigger, because one of the horses at the barn I'm at now, which you and I are working on his diet, literally one day I just came in and he was sneezing. I mean, fractiously sneezing. And we were like, okay, well, something's gone. Now, it was interesting because when I would go to bring him into the indoor, he was fine, but it was a lot more in the barn. So anyway, fast forward, we kind of went on for 3 or 4 days and I was like, yeah, we need to get the vet out and see what the heck's going on. And as it turns out, he is highly allergic to Timothy. I knew that he would be allergic to mesquite because a lot of horses that come to the area really have trouble with the mesquite trees. But it's interesting because I could not figure out why when he was in the barn versus being in the indoor, and they have those big ass fans, moving the air around. And I was like, why? Because I was like, this can't be a fan thing.
It's also moving the allergens.
Right. Well, but in the barn, guess what? That Timothy Hay is sitting in his stall. So, so we're removing all the Timothy because we had him on some Timothy pellets. And actually, it was one of the things I was going to talk to you about because it's sort of, so, we're removing everything that he shows, and that he's having an allergic reaction to. And in my experience with doing this, I feel like these tests are so good because if you remove everything that you can in the initial state of this, and then some of them, I think it's anything that's over 250 or
it
something.
It depends on the lab. Some labs, their levels are at 100.
Interesting. Well, ours was 250, if that's a helpful thing. So we're just removing what we can to start with that way, and then kind of go from there. It's interesting because this is the second horse I've had that I've seen literally, just sneeze constantly, sneeze. And that used to happen to me a lot in New Jersey as well. But yeah, that's an interesting thing. And you hear it, like you said, Tigger, it's so much more common generally in dogs and, how you deal with it. But the horse thing it's a big deal and people don't always. So my experience with it has been, I've had one horse that was allergic actually to pine shavings, but that's a long time. And his way he showed it was by colicking, just like you were saying. And then I've had 2 horses had trouble and they would just sneeze. So very interesting and good information.
And sometimes it's runny eyes, that just doesn't quit, that they're allergic to something. And, sometimes it's environmental, it's mites or, specific pollen, a tree pollen, a grass pollen. But inevitably, if there's allergies going on, there's going to be a food allergy component of some sort.
That must really suck to be allergic to grass when you're a horse that's designed. That must really suck.
I mean, that would be a horse that evolutionarily would not.
No, he wouldn't exist.
He wouldn't make it.
No, he'd be very short for this world. Yeah.
But is causing this, or a number of factors are causing this, that our horses' immune systems are hypersensitive, because that's really what it is, that they're overreactive. Because most horses are born, they don't have food allergies. They drink their mother's milk, they eat grass, they're fine. And then when they get to be adults, something happens. And I don't know what it is, but if any of our listeners out there have some good ideas, send me an email, healthycrittersradio.com. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Hedy? Hello? Hedy? Hello, hi, everybody. It's me, Hedy. Yes, I'm here. Yes, so here. Ready.
All righty. She's ready.
Tiggy's, or Hedwig is ready. Yay, it's good to hear, Hedwig.
Jennifer has an important question for you.
I do.
So many answers right now, ready.
Right now. At horse shows all across America and probably all across the world, and also here in Ocala, Florida, retirement capital of the universe, there are golf carts everywhere. I want to know how you feel about golf carts.
Little dogs scorn the golf cart.
Oh.
Little dog don't need no golf cart. Little dog got perfect paws. Little dog doesn't need to be driven around like an invalid. Little dog walk, not ride.
So that's important to know that little dog has good paws and can move about on her own. How do you feel about golf carts zinging left, right, and center, moving all the humans about?
Little dog disapprove of golf carts in general.
See, but what about all those senior citizens who can't get around so well and they use their golf cart to go to the grocery store?
Well, that's just ridiculous. Get a car, people. Do you not have licenses anymore? Then don't drive a golf cart.
Okay, obviously you feel strongly about that. And since
if I may just point out here, get staff. I do not go to the grocery store for myself. I've got people for that.
So your solution is the people should get people to go to the grocery store for them?
Staff. She calls them staff.
Staff. Okay.
Children or, significant others or whatever.
So
I would hope that an older person would have people who like him or her and would be willing to help. If not, then I guess a golf cart. But in my experience, even the horrible servant is nice to older people.
This is true. So oftentimes we see dogs chasing after golf carts and barking viciously at them. And I know that you would never do something like that because you would never stoop that low. But what would you tell dogs who have the propensity to bark and try to bite the tires of passing golf carts?
It's just immature and ridiculous. And it's lending our species a very poor reputation. We're nice animals, kind, and like a snack. If you go around chasing golf carts, people are going to think you're vicious and they're not going to give you a nice thing. Not one nice thing. So if you are nice and you maybe sit down and grin and wag your tail a little bit, maybe shake out your suit, you get a cookie, someone scratch your head. But if you are wild and you bark and you're not very nice, people will not do that. Then you're starving.
see.
I mean,
Okay.
I look at a sort of economic relationship with humans. You have to be nice to the humans so they give you nice things. You don't have to be terribly nice if you're incredibly cute. That's an economic ratio that I have determined. If you're very, very good looking, you can make a chart of this. Extremely adorable is at the top of the left-hand side, and then on the other side is nice, the axis, horizontal axis.
So we have to have a chart of niceness versus adorableness, and the cuter you are, the less nice you need to be. Well, that really, in my experience with the canine species, that pans out, Patty and Tigger. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that is a excellent point.
It works.
But we
for
only own
cats.
cute dogs.
Well, there you go.
It works
That's
for
true.
everything. I mean, if you're a cute hamster, but you bite people, probably they won't throw you against the wall and make hamster mash.
Okay.
But maybe they will.
Let's hope not, Hedwig.
Okay. I mean, I like hamsters myself. They're very cute. Little feet. Love the little feet.
Being a
I
Pomeranian,
want-
Because they're related.
yeah, being a Pomeranian, I can understand how you feel that way about hamsters, although I suspect some of your terrier friends feel differently.
I don't have that many terrier friends.
That's because terriers are low on the nice scale, even though they're high on the adorable scale. They're very low on the nice
Yes.
scale. They tend to be a little bit terrorizing. Thus, terrier, right?
Yes. Terrierists.
They're
Terrierists.
terrierists.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
That's
thank you
the
very
thing.
much. Thank you very
I'm
much,
so
Hedwig,
nice.
for your opinions on golf carts and your advice on how folks should avoid using them.
It's no problem. Just get some staff. I mean, I know it's an issue, but everyone should
priority.
get staff.
Yeah, make it a priority.
Yes, exactly. I mean, it's a gig economy now, so people are looking for work.
Well, thank you very much, Hedwig.
You're welcome. It's always very nice to speak with you. Interesting question. I do like economic theory.
Thanks, Eddie.
So we are at our great Tigopedia portion of the show, and I get lots of questions about this, Tigger, so I thought this was a good one to bring up, and is how do we transition horses into retirement, which is a big one.
It is a big one, and it's an important one. And it's not easily answered because the individual horse plays a huge role in what the retirement looks like and how it's set up. So the first part of it is how much time in retirement is the horse going to spend out? And if they eventually are going to transition to being out 24/7 in run-in sheds, that can take months and months to make that transition. And just don't be in a rush. Just
Right.
take it easy. The horse will tell you when he's had enough of being out with all his buddies, or one day he'll just say, I don't want to leave. I'm good. In
Right.
terms of feeding, especially a horse that's been in training and regular work, you want to slowly reduce the feed. You still want to keep, if they're going to be stalled, keep up the hay, and maybe just go to a ration balancer or,
Okay.
some Timothy alfalfa pellets with a multivitamin mineral.
So
You can keep
Tigger,
it
explain
pretty
what a ration balancer is, though.
A ration balancer is made by feed companies, and they have a lot of other ingredients other than vitamins and minerals in there. They have
Right.
food byproducts, and because it's kind of like feeding commercial grain, except you're feeding it at a lower rate, that's why it's known as a ration balancer.
Right,
I
okay.
just feed to all my retired horses. They get alfalfa pellets and BioStars Optimum Senior. And in the winter, they get chia because the grass doesn't provide any omega-3s. They get plenty of hay. In the winter, they graze 24/7 in the spring and summer and fall. It's really, I find tired horses easy, even the metabolic. But the key is moving around. If they're retired and they're used to being in training, they still need to move.
Right.
They need it for circulation. They need it for their heads, and they need it for their basic biology. Personally,
Right.
I know a lot of people keep retired horses in the same kind of routine that they had when they were working horses. So they spend, many hours in a stall, and then they get turned out for a couple of hours
Right.
a day, and that's fine. I mean, if that's what you have available, that's fine. But personally, ideally, these older horses seem to do great when they're turned out in a herd and living like a horse. Once they've made
I think
that
a lot of people have
transition.
fear with that too. I mean, they're afraid to, change what they've been doing with their horses, and how do you? I mean, you and I have shared one horse that was a Grand Prix horse that the owner was very, very conscious about how to take the horse from being very active in a show life for many years, and sent the horse to me. And then my idea was, okay, the horse has never been turned out, so I was going to keep riding the horse, but lessen how much activity, and then very slowly turn it out. And then from that, it became, turning out all day. And then eventually, I rode less and then turned the horse out all night. And then eventually we got the horse to come and live with you guys. And I mean, I took my time with that, just mainly because the owner was so concerned about it. But it sounds like, you've had such success with just kind of, obviously addressing the feed, and if the activity level has been taken care of and diminished slowly to where they're just not like riding and then they're done, you can
Right.
probably get them out pretty quickly.
It depends. Lionheart, it took a year.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. But that
I
was
wanna share
Lionheart.
this story, Grand Prix horse that Patty's talking about. His owner came to see him about 2 months into his retirement at my farm, where he's turned out in a herd. And she
Yeah.
drove up, and she got out of her car, and I met her, and we walked out there, and he walked up to her, and then he snorted and trotted away. And she was so happy that he wanted to be with his friends more
Yeah.
than he wanted to be with her. She didn't take it personally. Her feelings weren't hurt. It was a great relief to her,
She's a
that
good
he
owner.
wasn't.
Yeah, good owner.
Yeah. And
And it doesn't always happen
they
like that. Yeah.
they do live longer. There's no question in my mind that horses living out, with adequate water and feed and hay and movement and, a place to get in and out of the weather in a group, it absolutely lengthens their lives, and it makes them sounder because they have to keep
Oh, I
moving.
agree. I think, it sounds like, honestly, I think the biggest thing is that they do keep moving, Tigger, like you said, and that they can get down and be more like horses. I think that the hardest thing for people to understand is like looking at a horse in a stall and seeing what he's done as we've domesticated them, and then thinking about them just kind of, well, how could they possibly just change their mind and turn into this other horse so quickly? But it is amazing how nature takes over.
It does. And the hardest thing, I think, for a lot of owners to get over is that they no longer will look groomed, washed, bathed, clipped, manes full.
Yeah.
I mean, that all goes out the window. And you have to be
Mhm.
prepared to look at your horse after a year and see the long mane and the long whiskers and the fetlock hair. But you see a look in your horse's eye that is I'm with my group. I'm with my family. I'm with
Yeah.
my friends.
So,
It's a good feeling.
so Tigger, I have a question
It's
for
a
you.
great feeling.
When you first bring a horse into retirement, let's say he's gone through the process of sort of stepping down his work with his trainer, and now he's ready to take the step to go to a retirement house, a farm where he's not going to be in work. And typically, particularly high-level horses, their social skills may not be great because they've probably spent a good deal of the past 10 or more years of their lives not hanging out with other horses and making horsey
Isolated.
friends.
Yes.
Very common scenario. Are there anything that you could suggest to help a horse like that regain his social skills as safely as possible? Because we all know horses spend at least 50% of their time trying to hurt themselves and the other 50% of the time trying to kill themselves. So any suggestions on how to help them kind of get back in touch with being a polite member of society?
You do have to have a setup for this. My farm is ideally set up in that the fence lines for the large paddocks, which are sort of the transition paddocks, the herd comes right up and meets the new horse. And then I'm lucky that I've got one or two horses I can turn out with a new horse, in the paddock. And then they'll go in the barn at night. I keep somewhat of the routine, and then they stay out longer and longer. And then they just kind of let you know. And they may get a kick or a ugly look from the herd leader, or a mare may tell another mare, get lost. But they always seem to work it out without, maybe I should knock on wood, but I've not had, fractures or anything here. The group is very homogeneic. They just all mix in and make it work.
Yeah, well, that's yeah. But I also think it's the way you set it up.
Patience is the biggest,
patience.
So,
and let them introduce themselves.
Yeah, let them introduce themselves.
And be ready for some squeals.
Mm-hmm.
And the ones that are experienced will teach the new guy, look, you're not so tough. Go over and eat over there for a while.
Go eat over there. Yeah, yeah. And I've always found that an abundance of food is always good. So if you have lots of really lush pasture and space, when somebody says, you need to get lost because you're being rude and not following the herd rules here. He can go get lost, but still go eat and be content versus, okay, I need to get lost, but I really want to hang out over here because this is where the food is.
Right.
Yeah, that's key. Having that space and that
absolutely
nobody feels like they need to guard their food.
Well, that's
exactly.
Huge thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's great advice.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I would agree. Good advice.
Yeah. Let them be a horse. Let them take their time. And I love the idea of letting them hang out in an adjacent field, and you can just observe them each day, and you'll see the adrenaline start to drop, and the interactions become more casual, and yeah.
Or they get to the point where they go, if you don't get me out of this freaking paddock and let me go play with them, I'm going to have a snit fit.
They bond with them. Yeah. They see the other horses run to the other side of the hill and they go, I want to go with them. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There we go. Well, that's cool.
That's funny. Well, that was great. That was great advice. Thank you.
All right. Healthy Critters 91. Critter Nutrition. 3, 2, 1.
And here we are at Critter Nutrition, and I'm going to talk today about BioStar's formula Rebound. Rebound is a multi-purpose supplement that can be used for stress recovery and detoxification. It provides a unique proprietary blend of protein sources: undenatured whey protein, organic hemp protein, dehydrated whole eggs, and organic yellow lentils. This unique blend of protein supplies the branched-chain amino acids, which are necessary for muscle building and maintenance, plus all the essential amino acids, including lysine. There is an additional benefit to this multi-sourced unique protein combination, and that's the GI tract. Providing protein sources like egg, whey, hemp, and lentils support a more diverse colony of beneficial microorganisms. Rebound for physical stress. A horse's body that's in training or competes faces a biological process of muscle breakdown and muscle building. Providing the branched chain amino acids is critical to supporting the process of muscle building and muscle maintenance. Another biological process of horses in training is oxidative stress, which is the result of increase in production of free radicals and reactive oxygen species. Studies have shown that oxidative stress, if prolonged, can cause impairments in cell and tissue function and damage through late cell death and inflammation. The body's defense against free radicals and reactive oxygen species are the antioxidants. Proteins and enzymes in the undenatured whey protein have been shown to reduce oxidative stress, exhibiting free radical scavenging activity. Recent studies have revealed that specific whey enzymes can increase the powerful intercellular antioxidant glutathione. BioStar's Rebound not only provides undenatured whey protein for muscle and for antioxidant support, but also selenium yeast, as selenium is a powerful antioxidant, plus organic pomegranate, another food source of antioxidants. Research has shown that pomegranates have an antioxidant activity 3 times higher than red wine and green tea. The fat-soluble antioxidants are vitamin A, E, and K, and are provided by organic Alaria. It's a sea vegetable from the North Sea in Scotland. To support cellular growth factors for muscles and tissues, Rebound contains our unique bovine colostrum with 38% IgG. Bovine colostrum provides over 70 different growth factors for cellular repair. Bovine colostrum is one of the best foods to support the immune system because it regulates the master of the immune system, the thymus gland. To aid the body in reducing metabolic toxins, including from the digestive tract, as well as decreasing the impact of environmental toxins, Rebound provides smectite clay, which can absorb and adsorb negatively charged toxins. Think of smectite clay as a sponge, helping to mop up toxic metabolites. For GI tract support, Rebound provides BioFlora, a multi-strain probiotic with MOS to help colonize the GI tract. To provide circulatory support, Rebound contains hawthorn berry powder to help reduce stiffness after training and competition. Rebound for recovery and layups. Your vet has prescribed stall rest, and you know you have to cut back on the amount of feed. But did you know you need to keep protein levels up because the body will cannibalize itself when not provided enough protein? Generally, horses that lose muscle in layup do so because they aren't getting enough protein. Rebound provides the 4 different food sources of protein, including the essential amino acids and the branched chain amino acids. For horses on layup, bovine colostrum is an important food for cellular support, tissue repair, and healing. Rebound also provides BioFlora, our multi-strain live probiotic with MOS that is microencapsulated to ensure release in the small and large intestines. With 100 billion CFUs per serving, it can help reduce stress on the GI tract. The hawthorn berry powder in Rebound supports circulation, which is a critical component to healing. Rebound for detoxification. We are seeing more and more horses with heavy metal overload. Heavy metals come from exhaust fumes, landfills, chemical fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, water, and soil. The common heavy metals are cadmium, lead, aluminum, mercury, arsenic, and nickel. Heavy metals can interfere with the absorption of calcium, magnesium, potassium, sulfur, and trace minerals. The smectite clay in Rebound is one of the most effective toxin-binding clays. In fact, research conducted in China found that smectite clay was effective in removing lead ions out of water. Research in Germany on smectite for toxin binding was published in the Journal of Food Nutrition and Population Health in 2019. The study shows smectite's ability to adsorb large amounts of toxins, including heavy metals, ammonium, and histamine. Smectite clay is part of the sodium bentonite family, which has been shown to be effective in binding aflatoxins, such as aspergillus and parasitis. Rebound for the traveling horse. Horses who travel to competitions, particularly over long distances, can benefit from Rebound to support their GI tract with BioFlora and their immune systems with bovine colostrum, as the gut and immune system are easily stressed from travel. The addition of the antioxidants and hawthorn berries in Rebound can help reduce stiffness in long-distance travel. Rebound supports the body's need for protein, for antioxidants, for GI tract support, for immune and tissue repair, for circulation, and for the capability to bind metabolic and environmental toxins. We consider it a full-spectrum supplement for your horse.
Real horses and real dogs are healthier, perform better, and recover more quickly on real food. That's why BioStar empowers horse and canine owners with 100% whole food nutrition, supplements, and feeding programs. BioStar products are made at their own certified non-GMO facility in Gordonsville, Virginia, using real fruit ingredients that are raw, freeze-dried, or dehydrated, never cooked, and are free from artificial flavors, colors, soy, corn, wheat, and molasses. The BioStar product line includes a wide range of whole food, horse and dog supplements, treats, and unique artisan poultices that embrace the ancient and traditional uses of clay and plants. Visit biostarus.com today and learn about whole foods and canine and equine nutrition so you can make the best decisions about the care and health of your horses and dogs. That's biostarus.com. Whole food nutrition the way nature intended.
And now we're at Coffee Klatch, and our topic is the best advice we ever got from our dogs, which may sound a little strange, but I think that cats and dogs and horses and goats and all the four-leggeds and even the winged ones, they have things to tell us if we can tune in and listen. And I have gotten the best advice I have gotten, which I've gotten a lot of advice from the dogs and the cats and the horses. But the best advice I ever got was from a dog that I rescued from the SPCA, who was my first Australian Shepherd. And I named him Spirit because he had two blue eyes. And he was a dog that could not be contained. There wasn't a fence, a door, a window. If he wanted to go on a walkabout, he was going.
Yeah.
And he taught me that dogs, like humans, are who they are. Each individual is who they are. And no matter how much you want to cram them into a little box and make them fit my image of what I want this dog to be, I learned from Spirit how wonderful it is to let a dog be who they are. That's not to say that there is no training and there's no guidance and there's no boundaries, but it's not trying to make a free spirit into a homebody. And his advice, after beating my head against the wall, I finally listened. And then he never wandered again.
Isn't that funny?
I've applied that to my successive Aussies, recognizing that even though they're all the same breed, they are each one unique and special. And what one learns fast, another one may learn slowly. And it doesn't mean that one's Einstein and one's a village idiot. It's just that they're each unique. And I need to feed them uniquely. I need to address their needs uniquely. And that's been a great gift because, that's also the way that I approach the horses. They're each one is an individual. They're not just a horse.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Perhaps that could apply to people.
Oh, 100%.
Certain it could. certain.
How about you, Patty?
So, this is with dogs and horses and cats and people. I think the biggest thing that I get from my animals is not just in one particular lesson, but it's a constant reminder all the time, is patience, and that to just take time, which is not easy for me. I very much am always like, okay, well, how much can we get into one day? Not that I'm trying to, I'm not that I'm trying to be an overachiever or anything like that. It's just my nature to try to get, I like to earn my sleep. And sometimes because I work with animals, it's a little hard for me to take time and enjoy things. And the one thing that I'm really happy about in my current life situation is that if you were to ask me at any point in the last probably 20 years, what is the one thing that you love to do more than anything? And I love to watch my dogs play, which is like the end of the day. Like Tigger can tell you, I can send video upon video of my dog is doing the dumbest thing, and I'm laughing in the back. Like that brings me such amazing joy. And yet you have to take time to see that. But I love to hand graze my own horse. I love to have that time of just hand grazing my own horse and watching how they eat and watching what leg goes forward and what, it sounds stupid, but it's just such an amazing time to listen to how they chew and, and how they react. And I just love that. And it was hard for me when you're raising kids and you're, trying to do all these things and run a business and blah, 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 blah. It's hard to remember those little things. And I can tell you, I have hand grazed my horse more often in the last 6 weeks of my life than I have probably in the last 20 years. And in that, I've just learned a lot about just stopping and taking time. And so my big thing is patience. My animals have just constantly remind me that, you need to be patient.
You need to, and you're more present when you're doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
When you were talking about the dogs playing, I felt like their message was a reminder about us to play. I mean, we forget how to play.
I think that's an excellent point. And or to find joy, or to find joy in the most simple of things.
Exactly.
There you go.
How about you, Jennifer?
Well, you just gave mine away right there. I'm a cat person, not a dog person. I like dogs just fine, but I'm a cat person. And kitties have taught me, and particularly this most recent kitty we had, to find joy in the everyday. One of his favorite things to do was to find a tissue box, usually mostly empty tissue box. And it was a big cat. He probably weighed 12 or 13 pounds. Big cat. And he would somehow or another squeeze his entire body into the tissue box. And the reason his entire body ended up in the tissue box is he would get part way in, and the only way he could figure to get out would be to get all the way in and turn around and crawl back out. He couldn't figure out how to back out of the tissue box. I actually took video of him doing this once. It was very, very funny. And so it's a tissue box. Yeah, let's make this tissue box a game. And cats have a real knack for that, for taking things that are ordinary and creating some joy from them. And I took that to heart. There we go. And that's what my kitty taught me. And also, this is cat universal, is live your own life and don't take any guff from anybody about it. If I want to be the cat that sits on top of the couch while you watch TV and plays with your hair, I'm going to do it, and I don't care how much you don't like it.
You can't stop me.
You can't stop me.
Yeah.
Also taught to me by the Beast, our most recent cat.
Yeah.
Again, it's, be who you are and be okay. And whether people are okay with it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Spirit didn't care that it made me frantic when he'd go on walkabout.
Nope. Yeah. Our animals are authentic. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's perfect. That's a perfect way to say that.
So we've all learned that from them, so we can take a little bit of that to heart and work on it.
And be authentic.
And be authentic. There we go.
And be authentic. Real and authentic. Good.
There we go. I like it.
That's a good message. Yeah, me too. I love that.
And doggone it, I'm going to drive a golf cart whether Hedwig likes it or not.
Yeah, what else, right? Little Hetty.
Cute little bugger.
Yeah.
Lucky she's
so
cute.
If you've had some great advice from your animals, let us know at healthycrittersradio.com.
Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks to our sponsor, BioStar US. You can find them online at biostarus.com.
Get the Horse Radio Network phone app on iOS or Android by searching for Horse Radio Network in the App Store. It's free and easy to use.
For details about today's show, go to healthycrittersradio.com, where you can find links, photos, and more information about our guests.
As always, we love your feedback. Please follow us on Facebook under Healthy Critters Radio.
Be sure to visit all the great shows on Horse Radio Network at horseradionetwork.com.
Love your dog.
Hug your horse.
Feed your chickens.
Clean your litter box.
Dance with your goat.
Slither with your snakes.
Howl at the moon.
Hang with your hamster.
Party with your parrot.
Waddle with your walrus.
Outwit your otter.
Cuddle your cows.
Rap with your raptor.
Go chipping with your chipmunks.
Forgive your fox.
While hedging your hog.
We also recommend that you rack with your raccoon.
Gyrate with your giraffe.
Meditate with a meerkat.
Uber with your orangutan.
Facebook with your flamingo.
Ponder with your panda.
Walk with your Wookiee.
Yawn with your yak.
Twitter with your toucan.
Go raining with your reindeer.
Dropbox your dragon.